Alright. What's up, everybody? It's time for the grand finals. It's a best of 5. We've got an underdog who just took out Beyond to get here. Super is Trigger. I believe it's Team Super is what they're called. And I'm like, well, why is it Super then, huh? Anyways, Solar down here, the big favorite in this one. But he actually came through an easier side of the bracket. And he has been struggling with Protoss recently. Trigger, I mean, beating Beyond 2-0 as well, not even 2-1 was fantastic. It's a good confidence booster, but I'd like to see some real snazzy moves from him. Starting out with an early scout like this, not snazzy, not useful even. Unless you think you're getting 12 pulled, there's no way Solar's going to 12 pull you at all in this series. So I think Trigger, if he was really on the next level strategically, thinking about his opponent, and he should because he plays Solar a lot, or at least a fair bit in these tournaments, more often he runs into Beyond. He really should have skipped the scout, because what does this achieve for him? He comes in and he goes, oh, you're not 12 pulling me, which I could have told you with a 98.6% success rate anyway. So, yeah. We've got the probe there as well, hanging on out. Okay. Okay, what do we got? Oh, Nexus. Okay, Nexus is down. Cybercore. Yep. Cybercore there. We've got good solid wall off. Problem with this wall off is that you can't squeeze a gateway there. So I do think maybe the gate could have been down to the right another space, and this one, or the pylon could just be a bit further back. So if he does get Ling flooded, he can't wall off with a gateway there, or like, you know, Bane busted or something like that. Has to build a weak structure like a pylon or a shield battery, which goes down much easier. Couldn't see the Overlord on the minimap there. It doesn't show up at all. Look at that, guys. The yellow building takes precedence over it, so the red just kind of hides inside it. And Warp Gate does start up, which tells us Trigger wants to play Twilight, unless he cancels that and drops the Stargate right now, but nope. Interesting. So Trigger's going to do a ground opening to start. Blink all in. No, Stargate does go down. Okay, it's Stalker, Warp Gate into Sneaky Oracles. Interesting. So it's going to be kind of standard tech path, but he's just doing it in a less efficient manner. And he's doing it, why less efficient? Well, it allows him to deny information. So he can push back this Overlord, which means Solar doesn't get to see too much from there. He just gets to see one gas geyser. And then you can try and bank up an Oracle or two, thread the needle across the map. And when I say thread the needle, I mean avoid these pockets of Zerg vision where the Zerglings or the Overlords can spot. And then try to arrive at their base as a bit of a surprise and do some damage. Problem is, Solar regularly plays blind, and even when he sees Warp Gate, he often still builds a safety Spore Crawler because he's like, nah. It's almost like he doesn't really react to any scouting at the very beginning of the game. He just tries to do something very solid no matter what. Now, I'm not sure if he's aware of that third base. Seeing that should tell him, hey, decent chance there is an Oracle on the way, man. It's a very quick third. Great pylon positioning there. Yeah, that's a good pylon position. I should put it there. I was wondering where to put this pylon the other day, and I think that makes sense. I'm not sure if you can squeeze in a depth pass, but if you can also put guys in that little pocket, which is very hard for Zerglings to attack. And as we said, Solar would probably know what's happening, so he builds a Spore Crawler. He's like, yeah, okay, I see what this is. Not a single unit lost on either side. Trigger is going 4 gases. Is he going to go Twilight and Forge before going for anything else? We'll find out soon. Does look like a 50-50 style opening for Solar, though it might be more like 57 or 58, which seems to be the modern version of it. But what I mean by that is 57, 58 drones before building 50 Zerglings. So melee, very quick. I haven't seen Solar do the build. I don't know that's his plan. Ooh, snipey! 1 drone goes down, 2 drones go down, 3 drones go down. Okay, not bad. 3 drones in mining time. It's okay, but you do lose the 2 adepts. Those are non-refundable. Second Stargate. Oh, bad positioning on it. It really should not be built on the edge like that. So is he going to go carriers? I'm very confused. Fleet Beacon, hello? Because, I mean, he should have started Phoenix a minute ago if he was going to go Phoenix. There we go. +1 air weapons. Fleet Beacon goes down, but the Overlord's going to see this so easily. There's no Void Ray or anything to deal with it. No single Phoenix built. Okay, he's going to try and play Sky Toss versus Solar. It could work. I've seen Solar massively screw up versus Skytoss in the past. Don't think he'll do it today, though. I don't know why. I just have a feeling. He's already got melee, Baneling Nest, Lair halfway done. That nice quick 4th base is huge for Solar here. Getting that production up when you're Ling heavy is massive. There is a Robo and a Twilight on the way, so it's going to be a mixed style. Trigger's going to get a few carriers out, but he's also going to play ground at the same time. So it's a hybrid style. Gives you flexibility, gives you a mixed army. You can lean heavier into the air or heavier into the ground, depending on what you think will work. Downside is you're very bare bones in the meantime. You're going to have like, oh, I've got 1 carrier on the way. Now 2. And I have 2 Adepts or 2 Oracles. And I mean, you got to see this as Solar and be like, I'm pretty sure immediate Spire. Indeed, it does go down. Solar wasn't born yesterday. He sees a shield battery, 2 adapts, 2 gases very early, nothing else on this 3rd, and he's like, no way. This has got to be Skytoss, man. Bad Stalker positioning. Bit too far out in the wall, and that back adept is... Oh, no, it is solid. Okay. Ooh, careful. Where'd the Oracles go, guys? Oh, he recalled them? Oh, he recalled the Oracles. Trigger playing a little bit scaredy cat there. Would have been good if he went on this base. Solar making a big mistake to not have a Spore Crawler there. Just have all those drones out in the open. Would have been easy pickings. Trigger's gotten a lot of value with these Adepts. Just cleaning up these Zerglings 1 or 2 at a time. So it's 2 carriers. And he's going to go probably straight to 3 and 4, I would imagine. But he's already got like Charge Archon on the way as well. I know MaxPax likes this style where it's literally just Archon Zealot Carrier, nothing else all game long. All he does is keep making those upgrades. There's no Forge in this game, which does hurt it. But the 4th base is down at a pretty good time. 84 workers for the Zerg. Roachhorn does start up for Solar as well. I think he's probably realized with that Overseer, yeah, that's Mass Gateway. Like, this is going to be not just air units, but also ground. 8 Corruptors are on the way. I think Solar letting this base get up so easily is maybe a slight mistake. That Forge does go down, so Trigger's going to be trying to get on upwards with that and add some upgrades. +2 melee is going to be done so early, though. I worry that Banes are just going to roll into the mineral lines, and that might be the game winner. Just random Baneling run-bys. Trigger is probably going to hit, I would imagine, with 6 carriers. So not these 2 carriers, but when the next 2 after those pop, I think he'll hit at about 9:30, 10 minutes with just Mass Zealot Archon. He'd like to have his +1 attack finished by then and his +2 air attack. So that would be a good way to do it. Definitely needs to start these upgrades up quick haste. Quick haste? Post haste, I believe is the saying. Pigo. There we go. Does get rid of the Changeling. He's forgotten that upgrade on the +1, but here we go. Oh, Corruptors out there hunting for Oracles. They'd like some snipey snipes. They find a Warp Prism. Oh, it's a juicy pick-off. Very nice. Oh, shit. Someone just bought a t-shirt. Didn't even realize I had those alerts on. Thank you, mate. Big thank you. Oh no! Oh, this is really bad. Okay. All these little pickoffs starting to pay dividends. I mean, Trigger's got a good army, but definitely a scary moment. And remember what I said about Banelings just rolling in might be the game winner? I mean, a few good pickoffs have kind of put Trigger in a little bit of a corner. Now he's going to attack on the bottom as a distraction. And then these guys are going to roll in. And if Trigger doesn't quickly pull those probes out, ooh, we might lose the whole mineral line because there's no wall off up there or nothing. Nothing like that. Archons are on the top side, but those Banes are coming in. And look, here we go. He says, look at this, look at this, look at this. Trigger's attention gets pulled away. Banelings come in on the north. It's a classic 1-2 punch. Look over here. Guess what? Major look. Gets 26 probes, clearing out this mineral line as well. The Archons may hold him back, but he's already done the damage. He could just pull back and rebuild. He says, ha, killed all your stuff, dude. And that's basically a game right there, I would say. Trigger now, he's going to try to probably reprobe a little, spend all of his gas on Archons. He could try to go. He's got enough gas to make 3 more Archons. Yep, he's going to go for those 3 more Archons we talked about. He's trying to make 1 more, but he doesn't have 150 gas for it just yet. So he's got a few more Archons. He's going to go for it. Not many Ravagers, but plenty of Roaches in there to help out. 12 Corruptors, 9 Queens. That should be pretty damn good. Archon Zealot Carrier all in. Here it goes. The Archons need to fight, but the Zealots derping into the Banelings. That is not what you want. And as good as the damage from the Archons is on these carriers, on these Corruptors, there's just too much Roach Baneling on the ground. Very nicely played by Solar. I actually like Trigger's build. but just not able to deal with that two-pronged attack there. Solar denying his map vision with the Corruptors so well. All right, let's see if he can bring it back. It's a best of 5, remember, so I like the mix-up of the Skytor style, but if he plays that same style again, this is going to be a 0-3. Let's hope he just goes back to something a bit different, and I think he will. Trigger in the top right, Solar in the bottom left side. Moves out, sees no probe coming in to block him, and does go for the hatchery. Once again, Trigger scouting, and as I pointed out, guys, there's really no reason to do this versus Solar. Especially on these big maps. He's just not going to 12 pool you. It's not Solar's MO. The last time I saw Solar 12 pool a Protoss was God knows when. Now, Trigger might be like, hey, I saw it in this game, or he did it to me in this particular game, but I think if you run the numbers, it would be, I said 98.7% chance that it wouldn't come out in game 1. Say 93% chance that it wouldn't come out here in this game, and these are the sort of gambles you should be taking as Trigger to make sure you get in a good spot, and I do feel like the Gate Scout, I really think either scout early and block the hatchery and then be annoying with it, or don't scout at all. And I know that's a controversial opinion because people say, well, then you're just gambling. You're not getting 12 pooled. And I'm like, that's literally how I play StarCraft. I calculate the odds and then I gamble on them. And then once they start 12 pooling me again and it's in the meta and it's something they're forced to whip out every now and then, I'm like, cool, you're doing suboptimal build orders 30% of the time. I'm just not going to do that until you stop doing those suboptimal build orders, and then I'm going to punish you for not doing those suboptimal build orders, right? It's abusing your opponent's predictability. That's something that Hero, Parting, these guys have been kind of historically the best players at really doing that. Haas sometimes as well, so definitely something which a bit more of a normie guy like Trigger, who I think is so focused on like his builds and doing his thing, could perhaps focus on. And I think he has been cheekier as a player lately. But just a few little tiny details like that could really level it up. Now, he's going Stalker Warpgate again. So you can see Trigger's whole game plan is if I go Stalker Warpgate every game, he doesn't know if I'm going Stargate or Twilight. It is Stargate again a second time, but it's a cool way of opening up just to mix things up. Now, of course, remember in that last game, if it wasn't scouted so early, could have worked a lot better. So if he does get out a Phoenix after the 2 Oracles, denies the Overlords near his base, I wouldn't mind it, man. I wouldn't mind the opening at all. And look, his Stalker's like, okay, you're not going to come in any deeper with the Overlord. All right, fair enough. We'll just get some damage here. Overlord does hide on this little S-bend. Third hatch is on the way. Now, Link Speed always starts up very early in this matchup. I do like that Solar's left one worker. Actually, no, he only just put this worker back on gas. So interesting. I like to always leave a worker on gas, so I have that option of the super fast lair, like really early, 340, like 345 if I really want to. Now, Link Speed's almost done, so the Stalker and the Adept getting back to the wall off just in time. Bad pylon placement a second time in a row here for Trigger, so it's interesting that 2 games in a row Trigger's kind of messed up on that. Oracle is coming on out. Is he going to go straight across the map? He's going to try and head down this south side, but I think he's on the wrong path. I think that gets spotted by the Zergling just barely. Oh, no, never mind. Trigger knows his business. Pig's just a noob. Shut up, Pig. Why are you doubting our Canadian hero? You know what's really funny, guys? We're casting Trigger all day yesterday. In the corridor of my apartment building, it just smelled really strong of maple syrup. Like, I was like, who the fuck's been eating pancakes, man? And then like later in the day, like 10 hours later, it still smelled really, I was like, did someone spill syrup all over the carpet in the corridor? Like, what the hell, man? Anyway, I feel like that there was some spirit haunting my building, getting excited and cheering for Trigger a day in advance. So why the bloody heck not, man? I think that's definitely, you know, when Solar wins, you smell, I don't know, Zerg guts and gore and blood and meat all over the place. Kind of smells gross, like squished cockroaches. When Trigger wins, it smells like bloody Canadian bacon, maple syrup, and unnecessary apologies. Forge is on the way, Twilight Council as well. So it looks like it's going to be more standard Blink follow-up this time. He does go 2 sentries. I hate sentries. In this scenario, I've kind of turned on them. There was a few weeks where I loved sentries. Recently, I haven't really seen them be successful. I feel like whenever the push comes, you drop some force fields, they kill 2 roaches, then your force fields are out, and then they just kill all your sentries. And your stalkers blink away and they escape, but your bloody sentries just die, and you're like, well, Was that worth 200 gas or 300 or 400 gas sometimes? At least it's only 2 sentries, so that's not too bad. Triple Oracle's going to go for a bit of a dive. Oh, here we go. Not bad. But almost loses an Oracle, 2 drones. Great pull by Solar. I think Solar's kind of flexible micro there was really what made that good for him. Super quick 4th hatchery. Baneling Nest and Lair are finished. Melee's there. Smooth opening. I mean, what this is vulnerable against is if Trigger makes it look like he's doing this sort of play and he actually goes for big 6-gate Glaive Adept or something like that, maybe a big Charge Lot attack, that could cause troubles here for Solar as well. I mean, I actually think my Charge build kind of does amazing versus Solar's opening. I have a Charge build, 2 Oracle into Charge Zealot pressure, where I hit at 540 with 8 Zealots with Charge, and it's really good against the style that Solar's playing here. So Hero used to do it a few months ago before this Zerg style even became popular, and I really think if anyone's going to bring it back this season of GSL, it's going to be Hero, just because so many Zergs are playing like Solar's playing it. Actually, Solar's going Hydra Den. Wow, 6 gas Hydra Den. He's going to play Hydra Bane. Oh, that's super cool. Second Robo and Robo Bay are on the way, though. If Trigger goes Colossus, that'd be cool. Overseer scouts it instantly. Holy shit, Solar is so on point. He sees everything minutes before... Sorry, guys, just accidentally muted. He sees it minutes ahead of time before the tech actually comes about. And that's so annoying for Trigger. He's like, dude, can you just piss off with your perfect scout timing? If you could just scout 30, 40 seconds later so you don't have so much time to react, please. Okay, here we go. You see the sentries. They actually keep themselves alive this time. Not too bad, not too bad. Overseer in the back slowly getting killed by that Stalker. I think it'll survive this one unless Trigger micros it, which he has not, so... Oh, no micro for Solar either, actually. So, 1 more shot and it dies. 2 more. Oh, barely survives on 6 hit points. Infestation Pit is on the way. So Solar, he's already up on 82 workers, 6 gases, a full 4th mineral line, 5th base is on the way as well. But Colossus are on the way. They're great versus Lings and Hydras. Not that good at killing Banelings, but they kind of do it. They do it okay. Lings did just run to the right side. You've got to be real careful. If you get flanked by this army, I mean, you're going to lose all your stuff so quickly. Oracle's coming on out. You got to be very careful. Trigger. Oh my god, this Hydra's out. You know this. Oh, he loses one. Okay, good revelation though. Oh, Mass Baneling again? Is he just going to roll this in the right side? No, surely not. I think he's just going to try and flank the army. So he's breaking these rocks, getting ready for a big old push. Cannon, battery, cannon, battery. There is 1 cannon and 1 battery on both of these expos. The Banelings are getting ready to flank from the right side, though. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. The Banelings are down there on the right side. Solar does pull back for now, so it's a good start to the fight for Trigger, but watch what's about to happen. Oh, God. Oh, God. That's a dead mineral line. Oh, no. He gets out of there. Great pull there. Great pull by Trigger. Can he defend this mineral line as well, though? Oh. Oh, my God. Okay. Oh. Holy crap. He's only lost 1 probe. 1 probe. And that was about 30, 40 Banelings, guys. I know it says 19 Banelings, but remember when they blow up on things, it doesn't show up in that number. So, yeah, that's actually huge. That's huge. Very cost efficient. Oh, my God. 4,000 resources for 550 and the units lost? Are you kidding me? Oh my god, look at this. Okay, follow-up, run by attempt, but I think he's good. Yeah, he's got some sentries warping in, which they do take a Baneling hit, but that's okay. There's no way. I don't think Solar can take this fight anymore, right? Oh, Prism is not here just yet. That is a problem for Trigger. If Trigger can go... Oh, he's making sentries. Oh, I really wish he made Archons. But this actually might be genius. He's got like 12 sentries versus just Hydra Bane. There's no Ravages, nothing to break force fields. Oh, this is so smart. I was saying get Archons to soak up the Banelings. He says, I'm never going to let the Banelings land. I'm just going to make sure they can't do shit. That first force field is on the cliff, not the most effective. But yeah, very, very nice play by Trigger. And I think Trigger should push in for the win. He's got to keep forcing the issue. Yes, he's got a great sentry count. He doesn't have that much energy on them, but I think it's more than enough right now. He's going to just clean up these units to start. Solar's going to go for a big old Ling Long run by. And you know what? There's not many units there to defend, guys. He's supply blocked. Trigger is supply blocked right now. Uh-oh. He's gonna have big trouble defending this base. Okay. Trigger is sending back his oracles, but he's going to lose that whole mineral line. Force fields on the front, making it impossible for Solar to fight him, though. Solar's army is just getting minced. Yes, this worker line is dying, but with the Zealots and the Oracles together, he should be able to defend, and there's just no way to fight this army. Oh, Viper's out! A single Viper. If he can get 150 energy, he can abduct the 2 of the Colossus. That's what he's going to go for, guys. Solar's going to abduct these Colossus. He's queued it up to abduct both of them. He abducts one, but then he hits a Stalker. He abducts a Stalker with his second one. A misclick from Solar. The force fields holding back the advance of the Zerg, and even though the Queens are tanky lads, or lasses, I should say, it's not going to be good enough, mate. The Stalker advance is just endless. There's still 2 Colossus in the back. The range damage output is insane. And yeah, that first big Baneling YOLO on the probes, not a good move for Solar. Trigger fighting back in this series. Oh, is someone making pancakes? What's that smell? Well, what a fight back there in game number 2. Very solid play from Trigger, and I like to see him mixing up the styles as well. Did make it difficult for Solar to read what's going to be happening. Another small map here, and if there was ever a map to just open and actually commit to the Twilight Council with the exact same Stalker Warp Gate opening, then I think this would be it, because it's a smaller map. Adepts get across here very quick. Now remember, over time, the sentries in that last game would have lost value for Trigger, right? You're spending 100 gas on each one, and once there's Ultras out, force fields just get stomped down. There's Vipers out, they just abduct your big units over the force fields. So they become very bad with time. But yeah, there's this kind of niche that a lot of players forget, is that the sentry is very good versus the Hydra Bane army because there's no Ravagers in there. And often the Zerg completely skips the Ravager tech. So it's this thing... I would say maybe Protoss players remember. I think Zerg sometimes forget it because they're, you know, so used to Protoss players not building sentries, and they're like, wait a second. Oh, crap. I actually have nothing to deal with those force fields unless I get like a full surround, so engagements become way more important. Yeah, this is the way you want to wall off on this map, guys. You want to make sure your power field barely touches here, and wall off there. Much easier than trying to wall down on this bit of the ramp, okay? His pylon, once again, though, is a bit close to the wall, in my opinion. It could have been up and to the right a space, and that would have allowed him extra space to wall off. That being said, it's still going to be a pretty damn good wall off in this scenario. As long as he puts the building here, and then he can always wall off with another gate up there. Stalker, warp gate, no big change up. Ling speed, and then pulls 3 workers off gas. Solar does want to take this front third base. And indeed, I told you guys. Now, the problem here for Trigger doing this build, even though he's set up so well for it, it's a bit obvious. Now, why is it obvious? Well, I told you what he's going to do and why he's going to do it. I was like, it makes perfect sense for him to do blah, 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 blah. And he did it, right? Now, there's a danger, because if P-Brain Pig, washed up caster, can think of that, Solar can probably think of that too. So I do think the Korean players are very mentally prepared to be dealing with some of that cheeky bullshit on this map. Now, unlike Dirty Armani yesterday, bloody cheese dog that he is, I like Armani, he's a nice guy, but it could be a dirty build. Blink all in! I mentioned blink all in game 1. Okay. Wow. Okay, guys. So now he's going to go, yeah, he's going to do it with the Prism. Probably 5 gate. I think we're going to see a 5 gate, maybe 6 gate, 2 base blink all in is what I would imagine this is, guys. So the reason it's an all in, it doesn't have to be. He could just go blink into a third base, but usually it's an all in is because you don't want to go straight blink because it's just not the best aggressive tech unless you commit enough to it to surprise them with a critical mass. If you can get a critical mass of Stalkers, you basically keep blinking the weak ones back, none of them ever die, and it becomes really awkward for your opponent to deal with. So Roach Warren is on the way for Solar. For Solar, people often think, oh, how do you beat Blink Stalkers when they die to that, right? It's a very common question I see in Twitch chat, and people ask me and message me, and I'm like, well, you have enough stuff. People are like, it's not the answer people want to hear. They're like, which unit do I build? Is it the Ravager, the Roach, the Baneling, the Ling? And I'm like, you just have enough stuff. Mostly Lings and Ravagers because they're faster, so they can get on top of the Stalkers. But if you don't have enough to shut them down in one big fight, like flank them or something like that, they're just going to keep picking away and trading better than you. So, as you can see, guys, how many gateways we got? 6 gateways. So I said 5, 6 gates, something like that. Prism's on the way. So as soon as this Prism comes out, he's going to shove out and go for a big push. Now, if Solar goes to like 60 drones, he's going to have a very tough time defending this. He might still be able to do it. He's got like, you know, a creep tumor there, one here. Those creep tumors are going to do great. But the queens aren't particularly helpful. They tank against the stalkers. They don't really do much damage to them at all. He's moving out. He's showing his hand, guys. Is it too early? Is it too early? I don't think so. And he's got the observer, so he can clear the creep. Solar, he's moving spore crawlers to the front. He's got roaches on the way. 3 roaches, mass zerglings. He's already got 16 lings out. Now, if there's a mass zerglings, you'll see zealot warp-ins. He'll start just warping in unupgraded zealots at a certain point. That is definitely one thing you can do. Already 10 stalkers on the map with blink, though. And here we go. Ling's coming in from behind, but he's seen it. He's seen it, which is really good for Trigger. He can pull back and try to fight those Zerglings as well. He should be walled off at home, and indeed he is. But yeah, nice movement by Solar, just trying to draw him back. Trigger's like, okay. He's going to have to warp in an Adept at home, probably. Stalkers and Adepts are there. He's just spent all of his warp-ins, though. Ooh, so not very good there for him. He's going to have to build extra Cybercore and Pylons to wall off. Quick response, though, for Trigger. He does lose a Stalker there while busy walling off at home. Warps in 2 Stalkers at home, but he hasn't lost many. He's lost 1 Stalker, 1 Adept. Does he lose his Cybercore? Yes, and that does slow down his push quite a bit. Look at this move by Solar, though. Man, he's really buying himself a fair bit of time here. A Zealot, 2 Stalkers, though. They should be able to deal with most of these Zerglings, especially with the other Stalkers coming back as well. He's going to deal with the rest of that and then get back towards the front. Does pulling home give his opponent too much time, though? I really think the moment he knew there were Lings posturing, he should have warped in an Adept at home. Do not underestimate the power of 30 Lings to tear your wall down, mate. Because it's kind of like a Ling flood in the early game. They will take down your key structures and slow down your warp-ins. Now, he's building a Forge right now, but unless you're going for a third base, a Forge does not make sense. It does not help you out. So Observer goes in and dies. I think Trigger going for the sentries and stuff, he's just given up too much time. And now that Roach Speed's done, and there's like 27 Roaches out, it's too many units. I can't imagine Trigger winning this. He's way down in army supply. Solar's been able to build so many units. He stopped at the perfect worker count here, 53. Breaking the force fields with Bile. Those Roaches should be thinking about stepping forward as well. Trigger's going to try and micro his heart out. Grabs a Roach. Some good blink back micro by him, but as you can see, Solar just going in, going out, going in, going out, making it really hard for Trigger to micro. The Zerg just A moves, it becomes much simpler. Trigger can just focus on defending. But as it is, because Solar's going forwards, but they're not chasing too far off creep, it makes it really hard. And look at that. He says, you know what? Actually, I think I got the numbers. Let's go. Does take out a few more Stalkers. Nice blink. Does get out an extra Roach, almost a second one as well. +2 is on, or +1, sorry, is on the way. Now, there are games where I've seen Parting win from situations like this, but it is always a long stretch of just out-microing your opponent. That was all good micro. Didn't lose a single unit there. Kills a bunch of Roaches and Lings. And that's kind of the thing you got to just keep repeating. The Sentry's just going to go down, of course. It's not going to last. Then a few more Roaches and Lings went down. Not a single Stalker, but his shields are getting worn out. That's a problem. Obviously, as your shields get worn out, you will start losing these Stalkers faster and faster. Does lose 1 Stalker there. Observer thinking about coming in. He probably wants to put that one on Pervert mode, I would imagine. And he's got to be careful, that Observer going in range. The Stalker's microing very well, though. Another Stalker or 2 do go down. There we go. Good play by Solar. Great pickoffs. You can see he's brought that up now to 8 Stalkers. 3 Sentries, a Zealot and Adept. 62 Lings and 25 Roaches, though, so not bad pickoffs at all. Trigger making more Stalkers at home. He's going to try and keep attacking. He cannot give Solar too much time to mass up. Solar's already getting close to maxed. Stalker's going to take forever to clean those Zerglings out. And that will not be a wall-off. He needs another Stalker warp in there, but I think he's just warped in on the front. Oh, no. Okay, that Stalker's going to have to pull back and let the probes help him out. Stalker's pushing forwards on the front at the same time. Solar with a fantastic defense. I think this is a pretty good all-in for this map, but Solar's defense is just spectacular. The probes do clean up those units. Solar's just 52 workers, but 116 supply of Roach Ravager. Man, it's scenarios like this where you imagine if the Protoss managed to get out just 1 Disruptor, how much of a game changer that could be. 2 Disruptors, something like that, right? It would hard counter Solar's whole army so bad. But this unit, this army, yeah, you're down 40 army supply. You might say it's better quality army supply, but look how wounded it is. Those hit points will not regenerate. And those corrosive biles are so good at zoning. It's one of the big advantages of bile as well, as those stalkers want to pick at you, pull back, pick at you, blink back. The corrosive bile creates areas where they have to evacuate. It says, hey, I don't even need to get anywhere near you, and I can force you to back off. So the corrosive bile, it's a really good mechanism just for buying time and keeping those stalkers back. And oh, look at this. He's setting up a big roach flank. He says, you're going to blink back and get surrounded. Trigger's trying to get out of there now. He's going to try and pull back. Pretty good micro on his part, but got to be real careful here, man. He's going to try and micro. He's going to do ring around the burning Blizzard office here. Stalker's trying to pull on backwards, seeing what he could do. More Stalkers warp it on in the back. Good Stalker micro. Does eat a few biles. Tries to punish. He wants to kill these Ravagers. Remember, Ravagers are 3 supply, and they're kind of inflated supply. Roaches definitely are inflated supply, but Ravagers as well. Oh my god. Dudes, this is the closest the army supply has been all game. Now, it doesn't account for the Queens. The Queens are, of course, very powerful at tanking, even though they don't do much damage. And the Ravager's going to drop some biles. Oh my god. Dude, this is actually still very close. Trigger might be able to just micro his way through there. It's reminding me of Heart of the Swarm. There was a lot of games like this. Mass Blink just wearing the Zerg down where it looked like the numbers were all in the Zerg's favor. But Solar, he just didn't quite set up that Roach flank correctly. And I really wonder where the Lings are as well. He's only building Roaches. I feel like having some Lings mixed in would tank so much damage, so many shots. Oh my god, he's just going to blink on top. Oh man, he's got the numbers. He's got the numbers. Oh my god. Hello? Is this parting smurfing from the military or is this Trigger? What the heck? Oh my god, look at the units lost tab. 17,000 resources for 10,000. An absolute savage Trigger with the 2 base. The delayed +1, which I was criticizing. Drops the Forge, goes for the delayed all-in, and he does it with the Stalker micro. Well, holy shit, I hope you guys are hungry because we're going to have leftover pancakes the way this one's going. It smells like maple syrup in here. It smells like victory. This is Super's Trigger in the top left. He's up 2-1. He only needs one more map to win the whole thing. In the bottom right, we got Solar. Now, Solar is going to have his hatchery blocked this time around. Trigger's going to force him out to this third, which is pretty exposed. And this map's so small, if you follow this up with Glaive Adept, oh, it's so sick. Because this base is just so hard for the Zerg to defend. Look at how far the Zerg needs to move around to get there. It's really awkward getting in and out of there, guys. So I really like the block the base and then go for the Glaive Adept. If they take the back one, obviously I wouldn't. But, I mean, what Zerg's going to take a base with only 1 gas and 6 minerals as their natural? That's just such a handicap that early in the game. It's not too bad as a 3rd or 4th, but as your second base, no way. Oh, big thank you for the love, chat. A few people subbing there. I'll give you guys shout-outs in a little bit. Nexus into Cybercore, very standard. Solar respecting the probe. He actually sent a drone to take all the shields off it, so Solar kind of my school of thought in that just getting the probe out of there is super worth it. I always think that's worth it, and then you can micro that guy back on. So Cybercore, second gas, builds another probe, and then 22-second pylon. Where's that second pylon, bud? There we go. And once again, just interrupting the mining as much as he can, and he goes right back in there. Good moves by Trigger, man. Just messing up the workers, but Solar, good attention to detail. Notice all of these drones are working in pairs. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So he doesn't let his workers get messed up. We've seen games with like top pros. I remember there's like a game or two of Dark where he just like let his whole mineral line get messed up, and they were all like those groups of 3 on some mineral patches, 1 on other mineral patches, and he was actually significantly down on mining for the first few minutes of the game because he just didn't fix it, and I was like, oh my god. But Solar, good attention to detail. He knows he's got to play very, very well. Twilight Council's on the way. I told you guys. Glaive Adept. He's not going to do Blink again. There's no way. I mean, this base is kind of far away and exposed, and there's, you know, it's probably hard to defend Stalkers attacking this angle as well, but I don't think Trigger has that much faith in the ability to just headbutt. I don't think Solar will chase him off creep this time around. Glaive Adepts, that's what I like to see. 2-gate Glaive Adept on the way. One worker back on gas here for Solar just after 3 minutes, as he likes to do. He pulls them all off when he starts Link Speed at about 2 minutes 30, right? But then he chucks one back on about 40 seconds later. And there is a 3rd gateway there as well. Now, this could be just 3-gate, and then he just drops a 3rd Nexus behind it as well, and just kind of goes up into Blink behind it, and doesn't even bother with the Prism. And indeed, that's what he's doing. Yeah, he's going to go really quick 3rd. So this is a non-committal Glaive Adept pressure, which is actually very nice. I really like it. I'd love to see the Stalker go there to the edge, because he was thinking about it. He's thinking about the Overlord, but there's another Overlord on the top. Great scouting so far by Solar. He hasn't actually seen that third. He's got to poke the Overlord in to check for it. Solar. Oh, Roach Warren. Right on 358. Pylon spotted at the back. Solar's going to move in now. That prompts him. And he says, ah, okay, very quick third. Doesn't necessarily know it's Glaive Adepts yet, though. And these 5 guys should shade straight to that third. 6 more Lings are on the way. Solar's getting away with a pretty decent work account, though. So I think definitely he's okay with where he is. We do usually want to see 3 more Adepts warped in here, but Trigger's skipping it. He's actually just going, we'll get the Robo, the Forge, get the 4 gases first of all. He does threaten the shade, but I think, yeah, just enough Zerglings to make it. It would have been awkward. He could have shaded, especially into this corner, and I think it would have been a good trade. But with 3 Queens there as well, it's hard to be sure that'll be worth it. Now, he's got 2 Adepts going down the left side, and I think the next one, he probably wants to commit. Adepts shade in here, try to just get in behind the mineral line or something like that, and then these 2 Adepts go at the same time. Sentry is trying to take out that Overlord, but here we go, guys. Here's the 2-prong. Cancels that one. These 5 Adepts do go in, as we pointed out. Ooh, there was another drone there, but he just gets 1 drone, bit of mining time. He's shading in towards the main. Good micro. I really like Trigger's micro. He's got to cancel that shade, but oh, he doesn't cancel it. Oh, so these guys in the main get killed, and he grabs another 3 drones. Ah, great hold by Solar. Big mistake by Trigger. Trigger's up on economy, but he was better off there actually not throwing any units away, because now he's so far behind, and he might even die to the counterattack, right? What have we got? 4 roaches and like 30, 40 Zerglings. 30 Zerglings. But he's so far ahead on workers. If he kept those Adepts alive and just saved them for later, that would be so huge. Now, Solar's tech's kind of bad. He's got an Evo chamber. He's got some gases. He's thinking about Spire? No, there's no way he'll go Spire. He doesn't have the gas for it. But yeah, the third 3/4 base is up in the back. Now, Trigger needs to get a 4th because he's playing sentries. So he needs to move out and take this 4th base up here. This hallucination is very important. Don't underestimate this because he needs to kind of figure out what's happening with hallucinations. He's also got Adepts ready to do a bit of a backstab if Solar does get aggressive. Solar's just going Roaches for now, Roach speed. He hasn't started an upgrade on that. If he starts +1 range, it tells us Solar's changing his style up, which I think he will go +1 range. I don't think he's going to go melee here, guys. Melee would mean Ravager Bane. +1 range means Roach Hydra into Lurker, and I think that's what he's going to do. So, Solar, tell us, which strategy do you want to play? Or are you undecided? He might be undecided. He's scouting. And I think he sees it's a ground style. He sees the 4th Nexus. Robo Bay going down behind this as well. Stalker Sentry starting to posture forward, but I think there's a much bigger army for the Zerg right now for Solar. 4 drones go down for 2 Adepts. Good trade for Trigger, whose Immortal has gone walkabout. Get out of there, Trigger. Yeah, Trigger's got to be careful. He's got the economic lead, but he's kind of down on army momentum because of the Adepts throwing their lives away earlier. So the better trades here for Solar mean that, you know, Trigger's got to be real cautious for the next maybe 2 minutes of this game. And he's got to be really careful about turning this into a big explosive army in the future. So he's got 2 Immortals out. He's going to make a 3rd before going into double Robo. And indeed, we do see Melee, Baneling Nest, Ravagerling Bane it is for Solar. 4th base on the way at the top. I'd like to see him take this free 5th base, kind of like a macro hatch in the back. It's 3/4. It's still a pretty good base, especially since minerals is the main thing that matters after your first 3 bases. Oh, okay, I didn't catch it, but Pez said that apparently the Roach Warren got cancelled. So I didn't catch that earlier, but looks like it was okay since it was a non-committal Glaive Adept. Oh, Lings are breaching through. Lings are breaching through. The Immortal with Battery Overcharge looks pretty good, though. 2 Zealots and a Stalker in the main should defend there, but that 3rd base is in trubs. He's in trubs. He should not be taking too much damage to this. This is a poke from Solar. And 4 probes is not too bad. That could have been a lot worse for sure. Oh, Solar's not done. He's going to get 5. Well done, Solar. 5 probes, not bad. Good little pick off there. Colossus is on the way, but it's only 1 so far, so he didn't quite have the money for the second one, and he hasn't realized that he didn't build that either, so there we go. Now he realizes he drops another chrono on this first one, so he's going to go, I think, 3 Colossus. I think he'll probably build a Warp Prism, and then maybe even Disruptors after that. He's gone 5 sentries, but I don't think sentry timing is going to work because this is a Ravager style. So he's got to stop making sentries right now and start going into big boomies. Disruptor boomies, I think, is what will win him this game. +2 melee, Hive on the way. Could be going into Ultras potentially for Solar. Viper Tech will open up. There's a lot of different options that he has at Hive Tech. But with a 3 Immortal core, Ultras are not as attractive as they would be against the pure Blink Oracle army. +1 range starting up with that second Evo chamber as well. +2 attack is here. I like that Trigger's clearing the creep. And maybe a little bit early on those force fields. Oh, no! A couple of the Banelings just barely getting through and losing those high energy sentries without putting down more force fields. A huge mistake for Trigger. Now, Trigger does need to get that Colossus away from that right side. Ooh, walks into a little bit of the corrosive bar. Does lose a Stalker or two. Colossus on the right goes down. I thought that was going to get out of there. Oh, damn. That is unfortunate. And now Trigger finds himself basically in a position where he has no aggressive timings. And he's just got to basically be a sponge that somehow flexibly, perfectly adapts to what his opponent throws in his direction. So for now, it's Immortals and High Templar. So he's going to probably try and go Storm, Archon, Immortal. Hope that that's good enough against the Ravager Bane army, especially when you've got 2 Colossus in above it. It can trade very well. He's going to take a 5th base. He's still got a very good economy, but the supply just tells us that Solar should be able to brick a dickhead. Now you might say, what does that mean? What's brick it? It's basically, there's a lot of elegant strategy, fancy maneuvers, counters, and all sorts of things in StarCraft. When you can win with bricking a dickhead, it basically means you can pick up a brick and throw it at your opponent's face. You don't need to set up a 3-pronged ambush with bloody multi-angled fire and flanking maneuvers and feints. No. You can throw a brick at their face. And that's kind of what Solar has here. A big old brick of Ravagers and Lings and Banes. And he should be able to overwhelm. Now, what unit can stop a brick? The Disruptor. You just shove a big ball of units forwards. The Disruptor always has the potential to turn things around. It's just this army has so little meat to it. And Solar, he's all meat and potatoes at this stage. Oh, these Adepts are going to spot this. And there's a few cannons. Don't think those Banelings will get in. Good move forwards to deny the base for Solar. Oh! Good Disruptor. Gets like 4 or 5 of the Banes to start. And he's going to keep the Nexus alive. Abducts are available though. Ah, there goes one Colossus. Colossus number 2 goes down as well. Disruptor does get... Oh! Great Disruptor hit there. 13 probes did go down though, so that tells us at least one Baneling got through and did hit these Banes, these worker lines. Still an economy, still an overall impressive hold, I would say, for Trigger. He's ahead in the units lost now, which of course he should have been, but the early game with the Adept pressure did not really go his way. He's been ahead in economy most of the game, but now Solar comfortably getting up to his 6th base. He's got that back base up in mining as well. And not really using his Hive Tech for anything. No Ultra Cavern, no Spire. Just saying, nah, it's fine. I'm just going to do this the old-fashioned way. A couple of Vipers added on top of my Ravagerling Bane. Only 2 probes go down there. Could have been worse. Nice little Adept attempt here for Trigger. But the Spines are going to tentacle her and take her to Tentacle Town. Zealots coming in without charge. It's a sad little run by there. The Zealots stand there and contemplate what the heck their orders were. They didn't even give us shoes, and they want us to assault the Zerg Bastion? Are you mad? Trigger, unfortunately, is not mad, but he is desperate at this point. He's in a very tough position. That 5th base goes down there for Trigger. Zealots go down as well. These last few trades getting so efficient for Solar. He's got an endless stream of units. 23 Banelings are out. He's got 10 Ravagers, 10 Roaches, 44 Lings, 2 Vipers. And that is just fantastic for him. Quick Abducts, quick! Oh, feedbacks! Oh, no feedbacks able to land. The balls are going to go out. The Abducts, a little bit too late. But, oh man, great Disruptor micro by Trigger. Really, I think, very fantastic control by Trigger. That was an appallingly bad situation with those Vipers on top of you. But managed to get some really big hits. I think he's dead. But he's a dead man with spectacular final words. This is, of course, only game 4. It's been a pretty close one. I actually feel like Trigger's opening had a lot of potential, but it's always so hard to judge when you should commit with your Adepts and when you shouldn't. This was the scenario where he shouldn't have, and did end up costing him a lot of momentum. I think those sentries going down as well was such a huge point. Building 5 sentries and then getting nothing done with them, not very good for him. Ultra Cavern is on the way. Woo! Solar. My man, there's only 2 Immortals left, so there's nothing here that... Immortal basically is the only Protoss unit that counters the Ultra. So if there's a low Immortal count or no Immortals, it's always a good idea. Oh, no! Solar! Oh, man! Solar's that guy who gives fireworks to your kids. Gives him a bloody jet lighter and says, have fun. You know? And he's like, what? I didn't harm them. You're like, dude, little Jimmy lost 3 fingers. And he's like, well, you should have been... It's his fault. He chose to play with the fireworks. Solar absolutely disrespecting the poor children, the probes, the little robot children, the innocents of the Protoss economy. Stalker's blinking on forward over there. Nice little Zealot run by. Does get 10 probes. I'm kind of talking like it's all over and stuff. Let's think about how this game gets won. I think Ultras are just too good because they're going to get on top and kill these Disruptors so fast, especially with the Viper abducting. If he can, unless he can get the sickest Disruptor shots, with only 2 Immortals, I don't know, man. I very much doubt that's going to be happening. So look at this. Solar kind of sending these guys around as like a little backstab, buying himself a bit of time. Maybe don't buy too much time, though. Actually, Solar should be wanting to trade pretty much right now because he needs to keep this army small. Right now, he's up 20 army supply, but the thing is Solar's maxed, whereas Trigger is not. And Trigger still has amazing gas income, over 1,000 gas, like 1,100 a minute. So every minute that goes by, he's going to be like plus 3 Archons, plus a few Zealots, you know, plus a Colossus or Immortal or Disruptor or whatever. Those Disruptors are still being pumped out. There's only 1 Viper, which means it can only counter 2 of the Disruptor shots. Zealots running in the bottom side. He shouldn't get much done. Banelings here are just going to be blowing up on this rally. Only 2 drones go down there. Archons will take these Banelings on the face. Yes, please. Zealots on the right side going down. Dude, the army supply, Solar is messing up right now. Solar has to get over there with urgency. There we go. You can see he realizes, he's like, okay, this is a big death ball that's building. I've got to start trading with it now. I can't give him any more time, especially since if he had 3 Vipers, he could blinding cloud this whole army. It'd be useless, but with only 1, okay, Disruptors landing. Good shots. Ultra goes down. Only 2 probes falling. Archon on the right goes around and gets surrounded, which is obviously not good for Trigger. Good Archon micro, though. But man, Adrenal plus 3 Zerglings. They know how to kill shit. Alright, Trigger does lose this Nexus. Battery overcharge, not able to get on top of that to heal it in time. Trigger is doing fantastic. I really like the way he's hanging on for dear life, and he's looking for that elusive win condition. Solar's doing a good job of just keeping him down in supply and not letting him get any bigger. He's staying at 95, but like I kind of feel if Trigger gets 120 supply, he wins the game. So that, because there's no advancement in the tech for Solar, and he's just dumping his money into Banelings. I mean, they can get decent hits, but they can also just wash up on Archons and get hit by Disruptors and stuff. Oh. 9 Archons, 2 Immortals, 8 Disruptors. It's a scary army right now. But I like this. Solar just says, no, just keep doing run-bys. Keep on doing those run-bys. These Zealots are going to disappear instantly. He's got to get out of there. The probes. Oh, okay. He's going to run into the main and natural. He could run into the natural in the third, potentially. Here we go. Trigger's still trying to rebuild this 5th base. Not going to get it up. Adrenal Gland Zerglings do not need a lot of time. And Trigger doesn't even get the cancel down. On the right side, look at that. Oh, he's going to kill this base too. He says, no more rebuilding for you, silly Protoss player. You may have had 100 army supply, but not for long. Great Blinding Cloud. I love to see the Blinding Cloud getting mixed in these big fights. It is a game changer. 19 probes and a base going down. Disruptor shots are starting to go out. Very good hits on Lings, Banes, and Ultras, but there's just a bit too much there. And even if he manages to clear out this Zerg army, which I think oh, maybe not. I thought he was gonna. Yeah, he would have cleared it out. But even if he clears it out, of course, Solar can remax. He cannot. Very good micro for Trigger there, but Solar handling things with poise. And now we are going to the final map, game 5. All right, guys, we're going into game number 5. Trigger fighting like a beast this series in the top right of the map. And he's skipping the scout entirely. He's going for a no scout gas first, legendary opening here. I've been asking for it from the start of the series, and he mixes it in. Solar going hatch first, not going to be punishing him with a 12 pool. So a good start here for Trigger. Now, this is a real small map. It's going to be scary for Trigger to open up with Oracles because Queens can walk across this map so fast. Roaches and Lings and stuff can just shove across. It's very tempting for a player to just play a ground style. On the other hand, I don't see why you can't play Oracles on this map. I really still think you can play Oracle opening. Interesting positioning on this wall off. That's a really awkward diagonal choke point, guys. Notice how there's no overlap between the buildings. Means if there's an adept there, it basically is nearly impossible to wall off. You need to be pixel perfect between the buildings, and even if you are, there's a lot of surface area for Lings to attack you. So not ideal in that regards for Trigger. Trigger sees no Lings walk in at 2 minutes, and he says, heave a sigh of relief. Feels a little bit better. Knows he's not going to be just straight up losing game 5 to a 12 pool, and he knows he got away with something, so he feels very good. Ooh, Robo. Okay, Robo first opening for Trigger. Interesting. This is a Baneling Bust! Oh! Robo doesn't really help much first Baneling Bust, but... oh, man. Okay. This is just a dirty all-in for Solar on the small map. He's like, hey, you didn't scout at all. I'm just going to kill you now. 21 drone, 2 base, Ling Bane, all in. Solar said, hey, you didn't scout. You're going to play really greedy. This wall-off is super shit as well. I mean, a Stalker's a very good unit to have in the wall-off, but if you don't build a battery for safety, I mean, this is just going to be a kill move. This is yeah, I mean, it's unholdable if he doesn't get a shield battery. And man, I mean, you're not expecting this. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way he holds. GG. Solo with a very good build choice. I think he had an idea of what his opponent would be doing here. He's pulled the Stalker out of the wall as well, which means it's way more vulnerable to the Banelings. And Trigger is going to be going down, unfortunately. 3-2. I hate to call it so early, guys, but Solar has just picked the perfect strategy. Trigger has a great Disruptor drop planned, but he's not going to get a chance to get there. The Banelings don't even blow up on the Adept. They blow up on the actual pylon. They get straight in, and they're going to depower this just before Warp Gate finishes. These gateways going to be depowered as well. The Probes and the Stalker trying to pull back, but there's not even a shield battery in the main. This is a bloody blow, a deadly blow to the Canadian Protoss. And man, it smelled like maple syrup for a while in this series. But at the end of it, all I can hear is the sound of cockroaches and bugs skittering, scattering, and making all sorts of insecty noises. Because Solar gets in there, and with a disgusting acidic explosion, he blows up and he says, I'm the daddy, and you want to skip the scout and do this greedy build on this tiny map? No, no, no. Shuts Trigger down and says, I'm still the big boy. Respect, you took me to game 5, but I'm still the champion today, mate.